the World Archery Tournament today. A lot of great products going on, and I had the opportunity to stop by the Easton booth, and we're here with Gary, and we're going to be talking about some of the arrows that they're coming out for this year. One of the new arrows, and it's kind of an exciting arrow, it's the Full Metal Jacket by Easton. And Gary, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. A lot of people are familiar with our arrows, and particularly our small diameter series. And the Full Metal Jacket is an arrow that we've had out, and we've got new ones out, as you said, new models out in the Full Metal Jacket. The one thing that's unique about it and makes it a little bit different is the small diameter. And about 7 or 8 years ago, we came out with a carbon arrow that was small diameter. It was smaller really than any other internal component arrow that had ever been produced before. And it was all carbon, as I said, and we called that one the Axis. Now this one is a Full Metal Jacket, and that the name is kind of descriptive of what it is. It's a carbon arrow similar to the Axis, but with a metal jacket around the outside, and that's what makes it unique. And a lot of people say, well, why is that better than the Axis? And the reason we put that jacket on it is there's two materials at work. There's the full metal aluminum jacket that goes over the carbon arrow. So you start out with a high-strength carbon core, and then we put this aluminum jacket over the outside. And what that does is it takes the best attributes of both materials, the lateral strength of the carbon, and then the precision of the aluminum around the outside. And you get the best of both worlds. You get those two materials, the aerospace alloy jacket around that strong carbon core, working in unison to really provide bow hunters the higher performance arrows.
Now let me ask you, because I shoot an older bow. I shoot a bow that I got back in 1995. It's a Bear Majestic 7. Now, oddly enough, I shot Easton's, the Game Getters. And what happened is the original dozen that I got back in 1995, I just brought 5 in to get refletched. And they're in perfect shape. And they're the old arrow. Now I know, like with my wife, she shoots the PSE Chaos Full Cam, and she shoots the graphite arrows. Now with the old bow, I'm told that this arrow is going to be good to shoot with that also.
Oh yeah, you can shoot the Full Metal Jacket out of the brand new bows coming off the line today, or one that's 10 or 15 years old, no problem. One thing that's nice about the Full Metal Jacket is it has more mass, and there's kind of two schools of thinking with arrows. You can go with a really light all carbon arrow, or you can go with a jacketed carbon arrow, the Full Metal Jacket, which is exclusive to Easton. And that extra mass, what it does is it takes more energy out of the bow limbs, whether it be a new bow or an older bow. And some of the older bows maybe aren't as they don't have as much stored energy as some of the newer bows. But the Full Metal Jacket, what's nice about it is it does absorb more of that energy out of the bow limbs. So what that means to the bow hunter is you're going to get higher velocity and more energy downrange, which can be really advantageous. So this is a great arrow whether you're shooting a brand new bow or one that's a little bit older.
For a hunter, if you've got somebody going out, you have people elk hunting, obviously deer hunting is popular all across the country. Are you better off with a jacketed arrow or a standard graphite?
Well, the thing about the Full Metal Jacket arrow that makes it advantageous is there's actually several attributes, and I happen to shoot the Full Metal Jacket myself, and I shoot everything from turkeys up to elk and big animals like that with it, so everything in between too, and that would include deer like you mentioned. The advantage that you get with a jacketed carbon arrow is you get the additional mass that I just mentioned, but you also get a couple of things that a lot of people don't even think about. One thing that I really like is they pull very easily from targets, so when you're practicing you save your shoulder a little bit, but again the extra mass, the Full Metal Jacket really drives through a game. So if you have a marginal hit, you get a bone or catch a shoulder or a shoulder blade, that Full Metal Jacket with that extra mass and small diameter helps drive that through the game animal. The small diameter, where that comes in, and what we've noticed since we introduced the axis back in 2004, is that small diameter really reduces the friction as it's driving that broadhead through big game. So the Full Metal Jacket is just basically an enhanced version of that, where you have that extra mass of the jacket. The other thing about the aluminum is it's a very precise material. So it's something that is very straight and very consistent in weight and stiffness, and what that translates into is higher levels of accuracy. Again, the aluminum is the most precise material that we at Easton work with, and then you add the mass the carbon, the strength that you get from the carbon. Again, with those two materials working in unison, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get the precision of the aluminum working with the strength of carbon, and that translates into the best, really the best material combination that you can get for bow hunting. And then again, with the reduced friction of the small diameter, I think it's the ultimate weapon for the bow hunter to use in really in all around situations.
Well, Gary, I want to thank you, and I'll be looking forward to shooting this. We'll see how this turns out.
Yeah, let's get you outfitted with some and head out to the field and see what you think.
Gary, thanks.